Here's Zocha. Good long ball played through. Poor control. It's taken up once again. But Simba Bhora win possession. Here's Zocha. Chance now for them. A chance. Yeah! Just wide. Offside. Once again. Immediately called by Tachao Nambire.
But I think the offside call will be for the first ball, not the ball that the Donald that he went in for. Because Donald that he was slightly behind the action. I think the referee's offside call comes from the earlier incident, the first ball, where we had two Simba Bhora players running onto the same ball. But I think maybe a good call from the part of the referee. The Don definitely was not offside, but I think the instance.
Yes, indeed, referee John Ambire covering himself in glory, making very tiniest calls. Moruira. Tumdua. Chajga releasing the ball. Simba Bhora reclaim possession. Nyani. Again Shidolo in attendance. Shidolo with his long legs. Play continues. Here they come once again. Simba Bhora. Chinuchedu, the goalkeeper, needing a second bite of the cherry to kill the ball. Nelson Chajga livid with his defenders and Chandra Indiraya.
And Nelson Chajga must watch the seconds. Remember, there's now the 8-second rule, so you need to watch himself. But I thought, well, I'm not saying he spent more than 8 seconds, but I'm just saying, as a point of reflection, goalkeepers must be aware that they will start being timed by the referee.
Yes, indeed, a chance here now from Sona, but poor pass. And it's picked up on the near side. Sebe, good cross, but good header from Boyd Matugure. Out of play. Here is the effort spilled by the goalkeeper, but manages to smother the effort on the second attempt. Nelson Chajga.
That was a good shot.
It was a very good shot.
Maybe from Joel Waka is shoot on sight. But the number of shots that we've seen from Simba Bhora are now countless. And I would want them to be benefiting from those shots. So the shoot on sight policy seems to be paying.
Here comes the shot. Another close clearance there by Simba Bhora. Shidolo. And this one rolls to the near side. And a goal kick has been given. William Tole being asked to retake the kick. Sure, it was still rolling. That's why the ref decided that it should be retaken.
Updates from other centers tell me that FC Platinum are now leading by 1-0 over Highlanders, while Chicken Inn have doubled their lead. It's now 2-0 over Kwekwe United, and similarly Ngezi Platinum have doubled their lead over the host team ZPC Kariba. So it's ZPC Kariba 0, Ngezi Platinum 2.
Ngezi Platinum inching closer and closer to the top, and making some teams very uncomfortable at the apex of the log. Shidolo fighting for possession, he's fouled. The free kick has been awarded.
Yeah, it was against Shidolo. Shidolo Gravenberch. You might call him that, because if you look at the number of moves that he has pulled, he's definitely a follower of Ryan Gravenberch of Liverpool. And he's doing that very well. You know, he's solid, he's steady, and he's actually comfortable with the ball. That's Moses Shidolo for Scotland.
Yes, indeed. As this one is played into touch once again for a Scotland throw. And out of the picture, there are some movements on the Scotland bench. Daddy takes over. Manages to play the ball here. And the clearance was careless. It comes off John Albudadi. Shidolo. Long ball through. Headed away And it comes back to Murwira. Not a very good clearance. It's picked up nicely there by Mafiravira. Ball to the near side, and Machope clearly tired. He couldn't stand his ground. Mshore slips it through. Here's Mshore. Lovely stuff from the youngster. Here comes Nyani. He's been overlapping several times this afternoon. Nyani drifting inwards. Nobody challenging him. He left the ball on the far side. And Scotland managed to take it away, but then giving away the ball immediately. Here's a chance for Mudadi, who finds Matugure. Boyd slips it through. Blessing Moyo. He's done well to play the ball for Mudadi inside the area. The cross comes in. Nobody attacking the blind side, but finally it's kept in play. The cross will come. That's careless. Out of play. And the Kulea is set to come on for Emmanuel Ziocha. Daniel Tawonga Kulea comes on for Emmanuel Ziocha as Joe Lupata is turning on the screw, bringing on McKinnon Matema, Manienya Tapiwa, and now Daniel Kulea comes on, trying to sharpen the attack. There's a Tapiwa Manienya Kulea rather. The man who came on for Ziocha. I can see there Scotland preparing to dispatch this goal kick with Murwira. God knows Murwira. And of course some people still with some high risk maneuvers in a desperate bid to watch proceedings here at Wazanai Stadium. Ball played through. Blessing Moyo does well. Oh, lovely stuff indeed. Manienya taking them down. It's Kulea. He has to turn back. Here, they pick it up. The shot comes in, and again he was greedy. He was thinking of the headlines tomorrow.
Yes, it was greedy. His angle was tight. And that Ishana, which was actually running into space, he was actually head on goal. I mean, that's Blessing Moyo. Look at that. He's trying to shoot, and then his captain, Blessing Moyo, is actually free, unmarked. They delayed that ball to Blessing Moyo. Definitely would be talking about something different. He was selfish in that instance. That's why his captain, Blessing Moyo, is threw himself on the ground in anger and in disappointment. Another chance wasted there by Kulea. Kulea, you would have announced your arrival in style by getting a goal out of that situation.
Now Kevin Moyo goes down injured. It's a tough match that we're having here. These fans can agree with me. It's been a gripping encounter. We don't have any goals, but it was action end to end. No shortage of goal-mouth action. And it was a nice stadium. Filled to capacity here. I think the crowd has been growing more and more since we last announced about 8,000.
Yes,
I think it's nearly more than 10,000 now.
Definitely we do have some later arrivals at the venue. And you see the Mafios Chiweta coming in. There is one exciting prospect, that's Mafios, a former Highlanders player who was signed immediately after abusing God knows Murwira at Rufaro Stadium. He never went back to Blawa. He was signed immediately by Scotland. Now he comes in for Scotland to try and decide matters here. Hopefully he might get something, but it's one prospect, one exciting player to watch. Watch Mafios Chiweta.
Mafios Chiweta, I like the way you put it, abusing God knows Murwira. And definitely Mafios Chiweta can abuse you. And these are some of the youngsters that will do duty for Zimbabwe and our teams here. They are being caught young. He understands that we are watching a game of football. Yes, Simba Bhora can come through now. Ball played backwards. And the poor pass is taken away. Machope heading it to the right side, but again taken away by Nyani. And Nyani couldn't turn to beat his marker. Throw in. Tuma Viravira, who are warming up. Ronald Fumbizai out of your picture. And it looks like they would like to see some overlapping runs from the left-hand side to try and emulate what Nyani is doing. This one is taken away. Shidolo. The shot by Machope goes wide. He shoots on sight. Michael Tapera is another who could be coming on. Michael Tapera, just number 7, and the other one is Ronald Fumbizai.
And Michael Tapera is the one who scored a double for Scotland in the return fixture when Scotland beat Simba Bhora by 2 goals to 0, with late goals coming from substitute Tapera. Will he repeat the same script? Maybe, maybe not, but he might give us something out of this game. That is Tapera.
Yes, Michael Tapera can be a handful on his day. And they are pulling out jersey number 24 for Simba Bhora. And that is Kevin Moyo, injured. And then Taman Machope comes off. And the defender is coming in. You better help me and the viewers to understand that Tondera is thinking in this instance. He has taken out 2 strikers and in comes 2 defenders. What is he trying to do?
Yeah, I think maybe Coach Tondera will say, I would rather not lose this game. Let's get a point away from home and we go home. But if you look at it now, Taman Machope has been a prolific goal scorer. Right now, this is the only game that Taman Machope walks off the pitch without scoring a goal. But look, maybe a point on the run by Tondera would be good. But Simba Bhora, if it remains like this, will also be equally happy because they are not dethroned. They still maintain the same number of points difference between themselves and the Scotland. 2 points it will be. 2 points if it will continue.
Yes, 2 points difference will continue as the games are going down. After this, it will be 3. The cross inside the area. Simba Bhora cannot penetrate on that occasion. Here comes Jukamanja. The Zimbabwe international came back from South Africa playing for Orlando Pirates. Now doing duty for Viravira. God knows Murwira. Not a very good pass. It's picked up on the far side. Murwira standing firm. Taking too long with the ball, and here comes now a chance here. Poor pass. Poor service is what is costing these 2 teams. And ultimately, the same goes for Zimbabwe. We do have some very good strikers, but the service is poor.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why the Don decided to lift that ball. I thought a grounder that is threaded through the legs would have actually been more helpful and more productive. But the Don lifted the ball up, which was going to be difficult because there was no area. There wasn't even much space to work with if it's a lobbed ball into the box. Because already you would have arrived at the goalkeeper's area.
Boyd Matukure brought down. What a defender he is. Blessing Moyo. Looking for Mandienya, but this one is taken away. Comes back to Blessing Moyo. Moyo slips it through. Tapio Mandienya trying to turn away from his marker, but fails. And this one goes out of play. JL Joel Lupasha played for Highlanders. Went to Cyprus, was a prominent member of the Zimbabwe national team. I remember in 2004 when we first qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations, he scored the 2nd goal that helped Zimbabwe beat Algeria by 2 goals to 1 in Sus. Throw in for Simba Bhora, Chinu Chedu. The crowd has been singing throughout. Boyd's effort is countered and displayed into touch. Throw in for Simba Bhora. Blessing Moyo, the captain, prepares to take it. Donald Murray. It comes to Buteles with Nube. Webster Tafa. Overcooked. These are some of the details that I think the coaches need to concentrate on, because they can see that there's a player there on my side, but they can't just play a simple pass.
Yes. And why overdo things? Why overthink the process? Play the simple option, the basics, and be more efficient.
Yeah. Exactly, that's the way to go about it. Here they are once again. Ball played through, the whistle has gone, and the Simba Bhora crowd, the band is singing. It still plays on. Simba Bhora maintaining their unbeaten run at home and maintaining top spot by 2 points. If they manage to defend the title, that will be a record, of course, for a team to come from Division 1, play one season, the next they win it and retain it.
Look at the goalkeeper. He's delaying. He's playing the second ball onto the pitch, and yet there's another ball which is ready to be taken as a set piece for Simba Bhora. I think the goalkeeper there may invite some sanctioning from the referee, because that ball was out of play. He put the ball in, and now he kicked the ball into play, into the field of play, and yet there's a free kick which is being administered by the referee, ready to be taken by Simba Bhora. So charge guys there being naughty.
And I hope that Tendai Branya has seen these things as the ball comes into the area. The header back again, and the goalkeeper does well to turn it for a corner, but I think near side assistant ref had his flag up. And the fourth match official, Thomas Kusosa, says 2 minutes. It's Owen Manenda. 2 minutes of additional time here at Wazanai Stadium, after which it will be a draw. And Tapera being brought down by Boyd Matukure. Very clever chap indeed. He went straight to the referee to apologize.
And Scotland players are appealing to the referee to give him a yellow card, because that was on a counter, which is also going to remind us of how Scotland scored their 2 goals in the reverse encounter. It was on seeming on counter attacks. Look at that chip there from Tapera. He had set off on his bike, ready to go, and then he was impeded in the process.
Yeah, Tapera can be very difficult to mark on counter attacks. He has got the pace and strength to penetrate. That was Butolezwe with a yellow card. Mauchi clearing the danger, and referee had a part in it, but play continues. This is a good looking cross. William Tole takes it away. Michael Tapera.
Zukamanja.
It's a Zukamanja, in fact, who headed the ball.
These are his moments.
He knows exactly where to be. Let's take a second look. It was Zukamanja. Tapera came in late, but the goalkeeper did very well.
But also need to speak of the cross that was sent in there. It was a beautiful, inviting cross for a good striker like Zukamanja to benefit from. So Simba Bhora will be lucky to survive that one.
Here they come now with Butelezwe Ngube. The ball is taken away, and the referee blows to end the match here at Wazanai Stadium. And you can hear in the background the Simba Bhora fans celebrating. I think it's celebrating the fact that we have kept a clean sheet. We haven't lost at home.
Yes, their home record remains intact, and their log position remains intact. The same number of points that the difference in number of points with the second place team, Scotland, maintains. So Scotland, yes, will be disappointed, but they will be happy that they got the draw, but disappointed that they didn't get the full points. So in this contest, Simba Bhora, the home team, are happy with the current state of affairs. Nothing changes, but Coach Tonda Njiraya would want to have collected all the 3 points out of this game and cut the lead, or in fact, and actually go 1 point up above Simba Bhora. But as it is, it remains as you were before kickoff. What it also means is Taiman Mochope, who has been scoring goals for fun, walks out of this game without scoring a goal, which is unlike him. At the same time, Simba Bhora are also protecting their home turf. And also interesting to note is that from other centers, the relegation battle will still continue. Last time we had Manika Diamond had actually taken a lead over Green Fuel, and making the relegation matrix even more interesting, because Chicken Inn were leading 2-0 over Kwekwe United, and similarly ZPC Kariba were trailing by Another interesting encounter was playing out at Mandawa Stadium, where FC Platinum were leading Highlanders by 1-0. What it means now is that the log table still remains undecided after match day 28 of 34 games. And the crowd here at Wazanai Stadium actually came in. They sang on behalf of their respective teams, although their teams did not get anything. But the crowd was actually something that could remind us of our yesteryear days, where we used to see such good crowds coming in onto the stadium. And of course, another point to note is that Coach Joel Lupatla will probably have played this game with two games in mind, because from today, after this game, Simba Bhora are going to Botswana, where they are going to play Insingizi, a team from Swaziland, in the Confederations Cup Champions League in Africa. And we wish them all the best as they represent the country. But pity they won't be playing that match on home soil in Zimbabwe because of issues to do with our stadium. But we wish Simba Bhora all the best when they do business on behalf of the country.
They remain the dark horses. Well. That's from Wadzanai Stadium, the 0-0. So as they were, it now means Simba Bhora are now on 55 and Scotland are now on 53. So as they were, 2 points between them. And the dark horses remain Ngezi Platinum and Moz, who have we had with just about a minute or so to go. Ngezi Platinum doubled their lead over ZPC Kariba 2-0 at Nyamunga, and Moz just taken a 1-0 lead at Ascot Stadium over Tel 1. So they go, both of them, on 49. Still some way behind Simba Bhora in Scotland, but they remain the dark horses. The last we heard also from Rufaro Stadium, it was still 0-0, Rentals and Caps United, and not looking good for Boys Zenaro Green Fuel, because with a minute to go, Manika Diamonds were leading them by 2-0, and not looking good for the Miracle Boys at their own Heart Stadium, going down 1-0 to Bikita Minerals. So listen, it's looking grey for most teams from number 9 to downwards, because the last we had at Mandava Stadium, Highlanders were trailing.
Look, firstly, I must admit that Wazanai Stadium is a very difficult venue to come and collect maximum points. That I know for sure. I worked here before. Last year I was here but one. Yeah, so for us to come here and get a point, especially after the international break, where you'd probably think that the players will lose their way and continue on a bad page. I must applaud the boys for the work they've done today. This was a very difficult game. I think two sides which are really doing well in the league, meeting, and then you come here and get a point. And for us, I mean, it's a plus on our side. And then,
do you think about the goal? I was about to ask. Well, do you think that it went in?
Yeah, from where I was sitting, I thought it went in, but the first assistant had a better view, I think. But I thought that ball went in, and it was supposed to be a goal for us. But look, we don't make decisions. We take a point back home and focus on our next match, which is Chibugu Cup against Islanders on Sunday.
Thank you very much, coach, and better luck next time.
Stanza Tonderai Ndiraya, time just running out. They would have loved to hear from Dubai, Joel Lopatla. But he will be happy with that draw. So the final moments quickly now from our two experts. Sparrow, let's start with you just quickly.
Well, credit to Joel Lopatla.
And everybody's talking about the goal clearance. Do you think that ball crossed the line? What's your take on it?
Thank you. I think we have the referees here that decide if a goal is a goal or not. But from where I was seated, it's difficult. But I think it was not a goal, because you can see also by the reaction of the infield players of Scotland, they did not celebrate. So it tells you that it did not cross the line. But apart from that, I think second half we had opportunities to wrap the game. We couldn't take our chances. We had good clear chances that we could have taken. But at the end of the day, I'm very proud of my boys. Very proud. I can't take anything away from them. They've come here. They've battled. We're still 2 points on top. So it's up to us. And the good thing about these things is when you play, you are separating the games. The games are separating, and we are still on top. But now the pressure is we have to go to the Champions League. And then when we come back, you'll find that, when we are playing catch-up, it's always difficult. But the mentality is there in this team. The boys have got the confidence. I'm confident enough that they are going to pull, they are going to do the job.
Just yes and no. Is the title in sight?
Yes or no? Not yet.
Okay. Thanks very much, Coach, and good luck next time. That, of course, will take you back to the studio for the final match analysis.
Right, so we had, it was good to hear from Joel Lopatla as well. So we had from Stanza and then from Joel Lopatla. Well, I can tell you that Sparrow had it 3-1 Scotland. Sparrow, wabuda mrest.
The Buddha race didn't come out true.
And then Uche had 1-0 for Simba Bhora. Uche, Chibans, no Chibans.
50% zero for Scotland.
All right, and well, I know that you won wherever you were, because I'm sure you enjoyed this game and you were giving the comments that you want. Right, so remember that tomorrow we will be back for you. Yes, once again, when we bring you Dinamo Dimbare. Dynamos taking on the Sugar Boys, Triangle United at Rufaro Stadium. If Dynamos win tomorrow, they jump out. They're out of the, well, not out of the relegation zone. They will still be relegated. Remember, from number 9 to number 18. If they win tomorrow, they jump out of the bottom 4, not out of relegation. Because remember, Highlanders went down. So they are still in danger of relegation. But Cape United managed to hold on to a goalless draw against the Students. Well, that's just about it. Just leave me to thank the men from Manchester United, Old Trafford, who take on Manchester City tomorrow. That's our Sparrow. It's always good when you're around, Sparrow.
Pleasure, legendary.
Right. And I won't mention relegation to this guy. Right, Uche, Mundava, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
It's always good when you're around. Right, and many thanks to you, because you are number one. You make these shows what they are. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing here on ZBC TV. From everybody from the ZBC TV sports crew behind the scenes, fronted by our producers, Bevan Shinurai, Stuart Shoriwa, Tinashe Manyoni, and Gina Gwanzura. Yes, we say, remember to take care of your loved ones and each other. I'm Charles, CNN Mabika. Until we meet again, it's bye-bye for now.
fire will be electric, the passion will be undeniable, and the battle on the pitch will be absolutely fierce in this epic Matchday 28 encounter when Harare Giants Dynamos drop onto the fortress Rufaro Stadium, seeking to continue with their resurgence against Triangle United FC in the battle for survival, with maximum points the only option. Catch all the action on ZBC TV at 1500 hours, live from Rufaro Stadium this Sunday.
Drug and substance abuse leads to serious health problems, financial troubles,
accidents, injuries, relationship issues, and addiction,
which can be very difficult to overcome. Above all, drug and substance abuse is a crime.
Are you struggling with drug and substance abuse?
Do you know someone who is struggling with drug and substance abuse related addiction?
Get assistance. Call now on the Drug and Substance Abuse Unit toll-free number
0801 4424.
For all mental health challenges, please call toll-free number 2024.
Don't let drugs control your life. Seek help and start your journey to recovery today.
Hello and welcome to Focus 54, your real guide to real African news. I'm your host, Prudence Mutimbanyoka, and today we are going to join Commissioner Mkanana at the Zimbabwe Gender Commission in Harare to discuss the recently held 7th African Women's Leaders Network Intergenerational Retreat in the capital. We take a look at the outcomes of this landmark event, the challenges that African women continue to face in accessing and leading within the technological space, the bold solutions are being proposed to ensure no one is left behind in Africa's digital transformation. For now, let's take a look at the stories making the headlines. We start off with Kenya, where Kenyan President William Ruto presided over the signing of a landmark cooperation chains. The initiatives aimed to convert Africa's renewable energy potential into actual industrial growth. And in Ethiopia, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Africa's largest hydroelectric project, was inaugurated on the Blue Nile River this Tuesday. The $5 billion project was funded by the state with domestic resources and reportedly has a capacity of 5.150 megawatts, equivalent to 3 medium-sized nuclear power plants, and enough to double Ethiopia's electricity output. The new dam allows Addis Ababa to circumvent the 1929 Anglo-Egyptian Treaty, which granted Egypt an 80% share of the Nile's water and veto power over its use. And in Zimbabwe, Africa heads of state are in agreement on the need to move from rhetoric to action in the face of the climate change. The African leaders attended the second Africa Climate Summit, which kicked off this Monday in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Official opening of the summit, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed implored to replace aid with investment, casting Africa as a driver of its own solutions and next global climate economy. Representing Zimbabwe, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu, presented Zimbabwe's statement outlining some of the key issues Africa needs to address. as it heads for the 2025 Nations Climate Change Conference, COP30, set for Brazil in November. We close off with Malawi, where Kasakalo became the first community in Malawi to achieve 100% access to solar power after the international development charity Solar Aid provided 9,000 households with electricity. Well, that's it for this first segment. That's it for this first segment. Join us in our second segment and as we delve more on today's topic. Stay tuned.
risatata tukukuriko kwedza kujalanja ateirarira zveru risati rarira tichiri kuamba mugowamwo teikonya sanganai kumbanai 2025 World Tourism Expo mwamudhara tiri kuti ngatidhibane masae beach bar tourism jamboree kunenge kweichaiwe midlalo yeshowazweru tagopuls beach volleyball nezvimweni zvakahlamburuka yaambo. Oho, haukotoki wakabate nyara kuchahwinwa vanenge vachaya kobuda vachakotoke kanyi vakakukuchira wasweru usiku wakona maigani ngazi inenge ite kurumba kujalanja kugurubhada hambai tojalanja pasae beach bash mwanamzara hambai mwana weshe
Brought to you by the Office of the President and Cabinet.
Welcome back to the second segment of Focus 54. I'm now joined by Commissioner Margaret Makanana from Zimbabwe Gender Commission. Welcome to Focus 54, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, reflecting on the recently held African Women's Leaders Network Intergenerational Retreat in Harare, what do you believe were the most significant outcomes, particularly regarding Zimbabwe's role in championing women's leadership in emerging technologies?
There were quite a number of notable achievements out of this important intergenerational dialogue. One of them was that there was consensus which was reached in accelerating women's leadership in leveraging emerging technologies to drive Africa's development. It was also an intergenerational dialogue where there was fostering of cross-generational dialogue, tackling gender-based violence, women's economic participation, and women's political participation. And also, there were action plans that were adopted, which were to address the emerging challenges affecting women's leadership in Africa, aligning Africa's Agenda 2063 with UN's agenda. And Zimbabwe's also commitment for Zimbabwe, there was commitment for gender equality and its constitutional provisions, and it was recognized actually that Zimbabwe was leading in terms of women participation in the judiciary.
So you spoke about the positioning of Zimbabwe in terms of gender equality. How does this position Zimbabwe in the continental landscape?
Well, Zimbabwe was recognized as one of the trailblazers, but obviously there are countries that were noted as being ahead, countries including Rwanda, including Ethiopia, South Africa. So, but Zimbabwe was recognized as one of the trailblazers because we have the constitution that guarantees gender equality, and we've come up with quotas that include both the parliament and also the women and also the youth. So it was recognized that Zimbabwe has done a lot, but we still need to do more in terms of gender equality.
Okay. So the retreat theme focused on accelerating women's leadership in harnessing emerging technologies. So then, in your own view, what are the key barriers preventing women, especially in Zimbabwe, from fully participating in this digital platform?
I think there are quite a number of structural and cultural barriers that are preventing women from participating in emerging technologies. Some of the barriers are that our girls are not being able to participate in to take up STEM subjects in school because of the stereotypes that are there, and that it is believed that STEM subjects are for boys. There's also lack of resources and support for girls to be able to participate in STEM subjects. So you find that when it comes to technologies, they are behind. We were told that about 20% of engineers are actually women in Africa, and also 2% are in engineering professionals.
Just 2%.
Just 2%. So there are a lot of barriers, and one of the barriers is also deliberate government policy to encourage girls to take up STEM subjects, because sometimes you find in schools the infrastructure is not there, it's not conducive, and there's also some element of harassment of girls when they take up STEM subjects. So these are some of the barriers that are preventing our girls from taking STEM subjects.
Okay, so as the Gender Commission, how are you addressing these barriers?
As a Gender Commission, for now, what we've been looking at, we're focusing at, is trying to reduce the barriers in terms of political participation of young girls and women as well. So we've been trying to mentor, to find some mentorship for girls so that they can be encouraged. And we have a program that we were saying Women Rise in Politics, where we're training women how to have the courage, how to campaign, how to coin their campaign messages, and how to mobilize resources for their campaigns. And this program was including both older women and young girls. So it was an generational program. So this is what we've been participating. We've been promoting women participation, especially girls in politics. But we need to tackle the issue of the participation of girls in science, in education.
Okay, so you spoke about the statistics being low. One of the statistics highlighted was that 28% of STEM professionals in sub-Saharan Africa are women, like you said. What structural or cultural challenges contribute to this imbalance, and what interventions are being prioritized to reverse it?
As I have said, that mainly it's cultural and structural barriers. Our culture says girls are supposed to be taking soft subjects and boys will take the STEM subjects. So you find that in the past there were no or very few women who took up subjects, although now it has improved because there's been more encouragement for girls to take, but still the numbers are still very low, and numbers don't lie. So there are a lot of these barriers, even in our culture, that the boy child is given priority to the boy child. So if there are resources, it's the boy child who gets the resources to go to school or to pursue STEM subjects. And you find that even support for girls, there's this bias, the subconscious bias in girls, just to feel that they are not able to take up science subjects. So you find that a lot of them will just not take up science subjects because they feel that they are not competent enough. So there are a lot of these barriers that are preventing our girls, and we need, as a government, to take a conscious policy and legislative approach so that we encourage our girls, we provide the resources, we remove some of these barriers that are preventing girls from taking up STEMs and also from becoming science professionals.
Okay, so with several UN-backed initiatives like the Project Ignite, the African Girls Can Code, and the UNDP Innovation Hubs already active, how's the Gender Commission collaborating with these partners to scale up impact in the community level?
Doing the commission is that we've been collaborating particularly with the UN Women and UNDP. The program that I talked about in Women Rise in Politics has been supported through UN Women and UNDP to try to make sure that girls have the confidence that they can take up these political positions. So this is what we've been doing, but we need to do more in the line of education, so that girls are also encouraged to take up STEMs. We have deliberate policies, because our role as a commission is to have oversight, so we can actually work with the Ministry of Education to ensure that when they offer subjects or the infrastructure and resources, that their policies are gender sensitive and they include women in their programs.
Okay, so talking about the just ended retreat, it emphasized the need for intergenerational mentorship and inclusive leadership. How is Zimbabwe ensuring that younger women and girls are not only inspired by meaningful, but meaningfully included in the decision-making spaces, especially in technology and politics and entrepreneurship?
Yes, we, as a country, we need to come up with I know we have a forward-looking constitution that ensures that there is equality between men and women, between boys and girls, but I don't think it is enough. I think we need to do more deliberate actions to make sure that this happens, like in our national development strategy. I know the issue of gender has been included in terms of women's participation, even our gender policy. It talks about women's participation in ICT education and also in participating in technologies. Also the issue of women care work, because a lot of women are involved in care work, unpaid care work, domestic work, and that prevents them from doing other development issues. So our policy says that women should actually government should provide services so that they can free women from these other burdens, so that they can also participate in meaningful development programs. So we need these deliberate policies, we need legislation, we just don't need policies, but we need to have the policies implemented on the ground.
Okay, so the Zimbabwean government believes that no one should be left behind, including the women. So we are discussing the topic on how women can be included in this digital age. Join us in our second segment as we discuss more on this. Welcome back to our third and final segment of Focus 54, where we are discussing the women's participation in the digital age. Well, ma'am, His Excellency Kalon called for a multi-sectoral approach involving government, the private sector, civil society, and the media. From your perspective, which of these sectors needs to do more, and what practical steps should they take to support women-led innovation in Zimbabwe and the region as a whole?
I believe the private sector has a big role to play, particularly in providing resources. Resources for women to participate, resources for mentorship of women, like preparing women for board appointments. So the private sector has a role to play. The government should provide the relevant enabling policies to enable women gender mainstreaming and also to enable women to be able to participate equally with men in all spheres of the economy and in political participation. And also civil society should actually amplify women's voices, particularly communities, so that the women's voices are heard, and also to mentor the women so that they can also be able to have the confidence to participate.
Are there mentorship programs that those women listening to this can join?
The mentorship program that we had as a commission was the Women Rise in Politics, where we are identifying women who have made it in politics and then linking them with those new women who wanted to come into politics so that they could be mentored over time before every elections. And we are going to continue with this program where we are going to allow those women in position or those role models to be able to mentor the others so that they can also participate.
And do you have other maybe plans in the future for other sectors?
Oh yeah, we do have, particularly in the education sector. Because I think one of the issues is the barriers is that there's a lack of role models of women who have made it in the technology ICT sector. So we need to work with the media. We also need to work with the education sector so that we role model those women so that they can inspire the young women to also be able to go into those areas.
Okay. So Vice President Chiwenga, who was the guest of honor at the retreat event, described leadership as grounded on resilience, accountability, and integrity. And he emphasized that true leadership is about service, not power, and that gender equality requires men and boys to be allies in the struggle. How is Zimbabwe integrating these principles of resilience in the face of systematic changes and ethical leadership rooted in service, as well as inclusive engagement of men in the implementation of its new gender policy, particularly in the context of the digital transformation and emerging technologies?
Well, I recall that Honorable Chiwenga was responding to a question that was asked by one of the African youth to say, as a leader yourself, what advice can you give us as leaders? And this is when he talked about resilience. He was saying, leaders, you need resilience. You need to be a servant leader. You need to be accountable. So I think this is obvious that leadership, you need that to be a leader. You need resilience, you need accountability, you need to be a servant leader, you need to serve the people. So this is the message that was being given to the young people, to say, if you want to lead, you don't expect that everything will come on a silver platter. There are a lot of problems, but that should not stop you from forging ahead with what you want to do. So you need resilience, and also you need to be accountable to the people whom you serve. And you also have to be a servant leadership, which has been mentioned by our current president to say is a servant leader. So this is what is very important for the young people if they want to go into leadership, that they need these qualities to be able to. And in Zimbabwe, I think this has been demonstrated in the leadership, and having this coming from the highest level of government, I think this is very encouraging.
So, just out of interest, we know most of the women leaders are known to be suppressing other women. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's an unfortunate perception, if I may call. I think there are very few women leaders, and I think women normally are judged more harshly than men. I think there are men who may even be worse than women, but because they are men, they are not judged harshly. But for a woman, for you to achieve the same level as men, you have to do 10 times as much. So you find that even if sometimes you hear people saying, those people who are women are in parliament, they are not educated, but no one looks at the education qualifications of the men in parliament. So I think those are some of the stereotypes that are there. And also to say women don't support each other. I think it's some stereotypes, because we've actually done a research in the last election as a gender commission, asking the candidates who had won to say, the people who supported you, were they more of men or women? And every one of them, they said they were supported more by women. And then you wonder, when you hear people that women don't support each other. And also that women are socialized in a certain way that they believe that men should lead. So you find that socialization has to be dealt with at a very young age for us to get into that quandrum. Yes.
Speaking about those stereotypes, ma'am, maybe we can delve deeper into that. Most women are said to be leaders. Yes, that's 2% we're talking about in the region. But are they really leadership positions, or that's just trophies to just display that women are become called leaders?
Yeah, it's a question of what I always call, are we looking at bodies, or are we looking at people who really contribute? It's the same thing as the quota system. That's why the Gender Commission were opposed to the quota system, because the quota system brings women who, because you don't have to contest, you just bring women for the numbers in parliament. But in terms of participating and contribution and the quality of contributions, it doesn't address that. So we feel that it's not about bodies, it's not about just a woman representing. And some women are not even gender sensitive for that matter. So it's not just about the woman representing, but I think it's the quality. And those people need to be trained, and they need to know, to appreciate the issues, especially of gender, so that they can be able to represent women more.
So finally, what message would you give to young women watching this program those with dreams of leading in technology, business, politics, or civil society, especially in rural and underserved areas of Zimbabwe?
The message I would like to bring to young women is that you should follow your dreams.